Hello everyone and welcome back to the CFCBlues podcast. I'm your host George Allen.
And I'm your host Tuchels, and today we were talking about the Chelsea vs Burnley preview that will be happening tomorrow at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, indeed. Got a game tomorrow, which means another episode against Burnley. But before we do anything, Yusuf, we have got another special guest, haven't we?
Yep.
Some of you might know him. He's got his own podcast going. He's a big Liverpool fan, unfortunately. And his podcast is called the 1892's Red Podcast. So go and give it a like and a view. Don't subscribe because it's Liverpool. No, joking. Go and subscribe. It's Mr. Luke Burns. How are you doing, Luke?
Thanks for having me on, George. Thanks also, Yusuf. I'm all good. Yeah, not too bad. Looking forward to this one because I see that you're playing Burnley. So for all you Liverpool fans listening out there, it's going to be quite an interesting watch against Burnley, isn't it, for Chelsea?
Indeed it is. We'll get straight into it, I guess. Obviously, Luke, Liverpool played Burnley about a week ago.
Don't remind me.
What happened? Remind us, what happened?
Listen, it's just one of those things in which every club has, and that's just a dip in form. We got a win, obviously, the other night against Spurs, our first win in 7 league games. I knew I've been saying for years, even 2 seasons ago, we will lose a home league game at some point. And I was just fortunate it wasn't against Man United or even probably Chelsea with the record or the rivalry we've had over the years with Chelsea.
I wish it was.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Chelsea fans were getting slightly worried about their only sort of real history that they've got, and that's their 86 game unbeaten run. So
Hey! You've not come on here to slag us off.
No, in all seriousness, I mean the game itself, we were awful. We didn't look like scoring at all in the game. I mean, the only sort of few chances we had was Origi hitting the crossbar, and we had a couple of half moments in the second half. But at the point when it's not going your way, it's not going your way. So was it Yusuf? Always bloody Burnley. Well,
yeah, that's a Mark Goldbridge quote when he plays career mode against Burnley, isn't it, Yusuf?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, it's so funny.
He loses 5-0 to Burnley every time.
Always bloody Burnley.
Yeah. So first up, Yusuf. Obviously, we do this every time we do a preview. We go through a lineup prediction, a score prediction, and the goal scorer prediction. But first off, our last game against Burnley, what was the score in that?
It was 3-0 to us. It was away as well. I think Werner scored, Ziyech, and I think it was Zuma. I think.
Could you just repeat that? Did you say Werner scored?
Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Very funny.
Is that his last goal for the club?
Probably.
Last.
Very
That was
funny.
against Sheffield United, I think.
Oh, right. Was that the game after or game before?
Game after, I think.
Yeah.
So we'll start with a lineup prediction. Yusuf, you can go first on this one.
Alright. Lineup. The formation, I'm going to go with actually, I don't know what Tuchels is going to do. I think he's going to play a 4-2-3-1, I think.
Okay.
So, so in goal, obviously Mendy. The back four, left back Chilwell. The 2 centre backs will go with Silva and Zuma, because Zuma hasn't really played in his past 3 games, I think, because Rudiger hasn't played in front of him, so I'll play Zuma. For the right back, I'll play Reece James, and the 2 DMs, I will go with Gilmore, because I think he wants a chance, I think, to prove himself in the first team, that he's good enough to play.
Yeah, fair enough.
The other DM, I think Kante's fit, so I'll go with Kante as DM. And the 3, the right wing, I'll go with Ziyech. And Cam, I'll go with Havertz. Left wing, probably Hudson-Odoi actually, because I think his form is very good right now. And as a striker, I'll go with Werner. I'll give him a chance.
Yeah. Fair enough. I'm not going to say the exact same 11 as you, because I don't think Kante should be introduced to the starting lineup just yet. He's had a few injuries lately, so I'll go with Mendy
Well,
in
then,
goal. I'm gonna do the same formation. I'll do the same formation. Mendy in goal, Silva and Rudiger in defence. Chilwell, he needs to prove himself after his performance against Wolves. So Chilwell and who do I want at right back? I feel like James still isn't fully fit, so I'll go with Azpilicueta. Then in the middle, I'm gonna go with Luke's favourite player, Mateo Kovacic, and Jorginho. And then I'd have the same front four as you, so Havertz, Ziyech, Hudson-Odoi, and Werner.
yep. Sounds
Which
good.
brings us to our next talking point. Before we do the score predictions and the scorer predictions, there's been an ongoing discussion between me and Luke about Mateo Kovacic. Now, Luke thinks he's terrible, and I think he's okay. I think he's
Careful,
good.
George, PG rated. Yeah.
Yes. I think he's good. Yusuf, before me and Luke absolutely go to each other's necks on this one, what do you think of Mateo Kovacic?
I think he's a great player.
Oh.
Wait, some matches he's not that good. For instance, against Arsenal, because no, the whole team was awful that day. No, never mind. Yeah, he's a great dribbler on the ball. His pass is good. Basically when he wants to be good, when he wants to play good, he's playing on his day. He's excellent.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's it.
I agree. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's a great player, but I think he's a good, solid midfielder. The argument Luke brings up is yes, he probably could get a few more goals and assists, but I think what he's contributed to the club so far, or to the team so far, has been pretty good. So, Luke, tell me why you don't like Mateo Kovacic.
Okay, where do I start? Right, I know every club, just to get you out there, I know every club has a player which, not many people sort of think that they're good enough to play for the club. Like Liverpool, we talk about Wijnaldum regardlessly every week if he has a good or bad game. And for me, your version of that is Mateo Kovacic. I'm just going to read through a few of the stats for you boys because I don't know if you've seen it or not. In the Premier League, this is his third season at Chelsea. So in the Premier League, he's played 78 games. He's scored 1 goal. He's got 6 assists. He's got 13 yellow cards to his name, and fortunately, he's obviously never been sent off in the Premier League.
Try saying
How-
that to FA Cup.
Well, I mean that's just Premier League. That's the Premier League stats, and to play 78 games and score 1 goal as a midfielder, and me and Ricky have constant debates about our midfielders not scoring enough goals. What does Mateo Kovacic bring to your Chelsea team? If Werner's not scoring, if Abraham or Giroud don't score, if maybe a wide player doesn't contribute, that's where your centre midfielders need to push on and try and get goals. I understand the way Jorginho plays. He's a very defensive sort of central midfielder where he likes to sort of play from a defensive third, playing passes, etc. I know Kante, you can maybe try and play him box to box where Chelsea have had to play him more attacking because your forward players haven't sort of been performing. But for me personally, what does Mateo Kovacic offer to your team? Because I watch him every week, and I just say to Jules, what does he do? I want him to prove me wrong, but please, Yusuf, enlighten me. It's taken nearly 3 seasons for Jules to do it, and he hasn't done it yet. So please, Yusuf, tell me, what does Kovacic bring to Chelsea?
Well, obviously the stats they aren't the best, to be fair. Yeah, you're right, but he's more of he's not like the most standout players. He's like how do you say it? What's the word? It's like
Are you trying to say he does the simple things right?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
So
He's not
just
like a Pogba or something.
so just to add to your point, you would spend 40 million on a midfielder just to basically play 5 to 10 yard passes. Is that what you're saying? Like the basics. I know defensively he might be good, like in a defensive area, but then play him as a DM if you don't want to look at statistics. But I just don't know. Like I think Chelsea are better than that. I think there's players in Europe that for me can play in areas for Chelsea which would do a better job, like Milinkovic-Savic, for example. There's midfielders that even like Wijnaldum, if he came into Chelsea on a free, I will actually know that what job he's doing at Chelsea compared to Kovacic. But it's your club, not mine.
I understand where you come from, but you said before that obviously when there's gonna come points where obviously Werner's not scoring at the moment, Abraham and Giroud haven't got a goal in a while, and the wingers are doing alright at the moment, but there hasn't been a point yet where all of them haven't been performing. Like even when we were 3-0 down to Arsenal and City, Hudson-Odoi and Abraham still got the goal to make it 3-1. Obviously, it's too little, too late. But at the moment, there hasn't. Obviously, you want your players to play well, but Kovacic hasn't had to step up yet because when we've been in bad form, there's always been that one or two players that have still been there to score goals, you could say. But yeah, I do understand where you're coming from. But it's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. It's coming.
I mean, look, when you just for me personally, like just the last thing I'll add on it, when you spend 40 million on a central midfield player, you want goals, you want assists, you want. Yes, I know football's not always played on statistics, and I know Kovacic may do stuff off the ball which we don't see, but I don't see it. And for me personally, just watching it as a neutral, as they say, I don't think Mateo Kovacic is the level for Chelsea. I look over the years when Chelsea, when Abramovich came in, Frank Lampard, Michael Ballack, Michael Essien, the list goes on. Like I can think of, I know he wasn't the greatest at Chelsea, but name-wise, you had Varane. Like you had such big name players at Chelsea in that midfield. You've got Kante now, proven Premier League winner. We know how good he is, but Mateo Kovacic. I mean, Liverpool were linked with him and didn't go for him for a reason, and I don't think that was money-wise. I just think Liverpool didn't think he was good enough. So, I mean, we've obviously spent a lot of money on midfielders and been sort of outdone by with Keita. I mean, injuries, he's had a lot of injuries. But you see when he plays what he sort of brings to that Liverpool team. I don't see nothing with Kovacic. So, I'm going to end it there, with that debate on that. But, yeah, for me, the one frustrating thing I think with your team is sort of in that central midfield area you need to address a bit more.
Yeah, I understand your point, but I think my point is good as well. You can say it on both sides. There's loads of players like that, but obviously as a Chelsea fan, obviously I would like more from Kovacic, but let's move on. We've done our lineups. Now Yusuf, I want you to give me your score predictions and who do you think is going to score?
Just for the score predictions, I think Burnley, they're going to defend like the whole time. I think it's like Liverpool. They put 10 men behind the ball. So, and then I think we need to attack them because otherwise it's probably going to be like a 0-0 game. Because so I'll probably go for a 2-0. Not too mad or just a simple scoreline. I'll go 2-0.
Yep, fair enough. I think we've got to have some pace up front for this game. Obviously, we need strength as well, but I feel like pace is the getting behind. Burnley's defense isn't the quickest. Sorry, they're a very strong defense, very strong team. But I think we need to utilize Werner's pace, Hudson-Odoi's pace, and Ziyech's left foot. Get some balls into the box. Getting behind as well. So I'm also going to go with 2-0, and I'm going to have Ziyech and Hudson-Odoi to score, and I'm going to put a bit of money on Werner to miss a big chance. Luke, I know you're not a Chelsea fan necessarily, but I'm going to ask you for your score predictions. Take it away.
Listen, I'm going to... I know Ricky's probably listening out there and thinking, what am I doing on a Chelsea podcast? But hey-ho, I'm going with it. I'm going 1-0 Burnley, and I'm going to Ashley Barnes penalty. Chelsea are going to have 85% of the ball. I'm sticking with you, Rick. I didn't believe in you last time, but 85% possession. No, I'm joking. You got to go with Chelsea. Obviously, in all seriousness, you got to go with Chelsea at home. We know how difficult it is for teams to go to Stamford Bridge and try and get a result. Obviously, the last couple of years, it's not been as difficult, but it still is a tough place to go. It's a massive game for Thomas Tuchel because it's basically it's his second game. His first game come very quick, so it's a massive game for him and Chelsea. So I'm only going to go for a 1-0 Chelsea. I don't think they're going to score many. I don't think they're going to score many goals in the game. Obviously, they're only one. It's going to be very, very tight. Burnley are very hard to break down. I think your goal scorer probably will be. I reckon it will be someone like Abraham or Giroud if you start them. If Chelsea do play from wide areas, which they like to do with crossing, you need someone in the box like a Giroud or an Abraham. I don't think it's a type of game for Werner. So, yeah, I'm going to go 1-0 Chelsea, and I'll go with Giroud with a goal.
Yeah. That's completely fair. Fair. So Luke's gone with 1-0. Giroud with the goal. I agree with you. With the getting the balls.
If Burnley win 1-0, remember I said that, George. Ashley Barnes penalty.
Will it be a penalty though? Will it? So yeah, I think that's all we've got time for today. Yusuf, again, thanks for being a marvellous co-host as you always are.
Yes, alright.
And Luke, thank you for coming on and giving your opinion on Mateo Kovacic.
No worries. Thanks for letting me on. When Chelsea play Liverpool and when Chelsea get beat by Liverpool, I'm pretty sure that we'll have you boys on post-match and sort of see your facial reactions. We'll have a nice in-depth chat about Kovacic's season performance.
Yeah, because at that point it's in March that we play them. So, but Luke, give yourself a quick plug of your for your channel.
Yeah, so obviously I know most of you boys are Chelsea, you're listening, but if you are interested, my channel is the 1892 Reds podcast. It is a Liverpool-based channel, but we do cover, other Premier League teams when we do play against them. We're available on YouTube. Follow our Twitter and Instagram social accounts. Obviously, I'm one of the co-hosts along Ricky. We also have our Twitter account, so please follow them. George will leave the link in the description for this video, so please join, please like and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, so when we play Chelsea, we'll have a nice chat about that game when it comes up.
Indeed we will. Also, I would like to mention that they have started to do live episodes, so just look out for them. Make sure you're there, abusing them in the comments.
Especially after match days if Liverpool lose a game, which has been frequent.
Recently.
Yeah, please join on them straight after match days.
Definitely go do that. And that's all for today. And we'll see you guys in the next one. See you later.